Hello everybody, how's everyone doing today? So today we are going to be doing the Donjon Etude number 3, Song of the Wind, and there are various things that we can talk about with this etude. For me, some of the most important points would be getting some really good legato intervals, a singing top line, melody line, and a different colour for the accompaniment, observing what the composer wanted to have in terms of character, so allegretto. So it doesn't have to be super fast, this one. It's a bit more about bringing out the singing quality of the flute. Pianissimo, so working on soft playing, and a bit of variety and articulation as well. So that's some of the main points for the etude. It's also in A flat major, so thinking about that, what type of sound do we want to play this with? How does it develop? So all these kind of things we can work on. But firstly, let's go to the wall and have a bit of a warm-up with the body. And if you have a chair, like something like this with a back, see if you can get that as well. If not, doesn't matter. So we're just going to do the standing against the wall again with the contact points, shoulders and bum, and just bend the knees, keep looking forward, don't let the head touch the wall, and then don't also let it go too far forward, and then you just bend the knees and coming off the wall from the shoulders, keeping this contact and swinging the arms, and keep breathing. And then coming back. Now if you have a chair, bring the chair in front of you, and you do exactly, so first thing that a lot of people would do to grab the chair would be to do this. So sort of bending at the back, and then the knees lock. So just try that and feel how that feels, and feel how everything else seizes up, because you're locked in the knees, you're locked in the back, locked in the stomach. Okay, so this is not good use of your body. So we want to make sure you do the whole monkey process. So bending the knees, keeping the contact of the wall, then coming forward a bit, and the arms can swing and they reach the chair, and then you just, as you're going forward, you push the chair onto its front legs, and you use that as a balance, and your arms can come out like this. Okay, so you feel the stretch of the arm, you feel the back lengthening and widening here, and at all times your torso length doesn't get compromised. Okay, so if we go back and do the automatic habit way, doing this, notice how this just gets squished. So we go back, do the monkey, going forward, obviously take your own time, swing the arms to the chair, bringing the chair forward on its front legs, and then don't have to go too far, just so that you're stretched out here, and try not to grip the chair, but just use it to help you. And then just breathe there, so you feel the lungs in the back. They've got more space in the back than in the front, because there's nothing really getting in the way at the back. And that way you can really fill up and have a fuller capacity, less tension, Okay, and then just come back because it can be hard to keep bending your knees, and then just shake that out, and then take away the chair and get your flute and see if you can get to that sort of position. So you've got an imaginary chair. You go down, coming off the wall, keeping contact with the bum there, and then just there. See how you bring your flute up and notice whether you do anything weird as you bring your flute up. So you might want to turn your head. Do you need to turn it this much? How much do you need to do? So bring the flute up again. Keep breathing. Bring it here. Notice that you don't have to twist your head or anything. And just slide the flute down. And there'll be a slight movement to get to the right place. And because we were going to be in A flat major, just do a nice A flat major scale, 1 octave. So that's something just to try as you are warming up without your flute first, and then bring the flute into your practice that way. I find that helps me a lot. Okay, so I said we were in A flat major. We can try to get into the character of A flat major by thinking of other repertoire or other famous pieces that are in A flat major. So one that I think of is the Finlandia flute part, which goes a little bit like so I play it down the octave just to warm up into that character. So actually, I just got it on my computer. Let's see if you can see that. Is that visible? If you can see that, let's just have a go down the octave, and we'll go from I to K. So have a go with a piece that's in A flat major. You don't have to do that one. If you have the Moyes Tone Development book, you could also try this one, number 51, which is by Rossini. So that's from William Tell, and that's good. Good. So the first challenge with I'll just get the music up. The Donjon Etude number 3, Song of the Wind. We've got that first interval jump. So just at the beginning there, the E flat to C. So let's just practice getting up to there, doing some Moy's stuff, the usual ones. So E flat will go up chromatically, so it will be and this time we're leading onto a first beat, so a slight crescendo or development of sound towards the next note. So 3 1 2 3 1 2. Ready? So let's try that one. Okay, so by doing that gradual increase in the interval, it's just an easy way to get up there, and you don't really notice how difficult it is once you do all that process. So that I always do that with intervals. I just break it down, take it to the easiest point, and if I find one that's difficult, maybe E flat to A flat, I'll just repeat those ones. So if it sounds good, maybe repeat it once. If it doesn't sound good, maybe do it 3 times. And that's a good thing. So you improve all the time, and you're always observant of what you're doing and what's not quite right. Okay, so the next point would be to start with a nice E flat. Sometimes, because of this fingering, we can get a little bit of the lower partial creeping in. You see that stuff. So my advice there would be to practice it on the harmonics, just putting one finger down. And blowing slightly above and bringing the air down gradually onto that note. So when you come from above with the lip forward and then you bring it back as you increase the dynamic, that ensures that you're not going to get the lower bit of that note. Okay, so if you switch back to the fingering here, just do the same thing. Okay, so that's called the soft attack, and that's what we need because it's coming from a third beat and then you develop up to the C. Okay, good. Now the next thing would be to bring out this top melody line that we have. So the melody that one. Okay, so what we need to do there is practice singing and playing for the top line, because it's a song after all, and we need to be as vocal as possible. He marks on those notes stentato, sort of meaning with difficulty, something a little bit more anguished. So it's used quite a lot in Verdi operas, so something quite emotional in the sound. So let's sing and play the melody line. just note there that there's an A flat where there should really be a B flat. It's just 1, 2, 3, 4 bars before the double bar. I'll just grab my computer. Just around there. That should be a B flat. That's just, I think, a misprint. So yeah, but that's a small issue there. Okay, so once you've sung and played that, it should help you open up the sound. So just play it once now without singing. So there's that. So with those, it's got a slur, dot, and some of them have lines as well. So real connection, real emotion and expressive tonguing throughout that. And that's what we want to hear. So the accompaniment to that is this lower bit. Okay, and just as a warm-up practice, something that I like to do is a bit of, for intervals, coming down. So we're going from a softer high note down to a louder note. So we need to lift each time for C and then coming down a bit for the lower note. But to get the connection, we can practice glissandos. So you just move your fingers very gently and quickly between the two notes. So that the air is always moving through there, and it's like a violin just sliding down the string. And that's something that just helps you have that feeling of connection. So just try that. Okay, so practice that. With that one as well, we need to make sure that the top note, the C, which is not important, and then the next one where it's D flat, that's also not important, but they have to be in tune because that is a constant note throughout there. So just check with your harmonics whether those C's and D flats are in tune. See, mine's a little bit flat, so I'm just going to push in a bit. Let's try that again. And then D flat. Okay, so you just make sure that those are in the right place, and then the low note can come up to that point each time. Next thing, so to connect it with that and connect with the first note, if you think of the word believe, the stress is on leave, and so the B is a preparation to that stress. Believe, believe, believe. And I can go through with you the exercise that I called believe, using harmonics. So you have a preparation note as the third harmonic, crescendoing down like this, so if you can see that. take a quick snapshot of that, and we can do it together. So I'll just do one of them. We'll start on a G harmonic. So you're going to start soft, crescendo as you go to the next note. Good. So let's try that together. Start on the G, so the third harmonic. That one. Now let's do F sharp. So that's quite a good exercise to sort of practice the movement that's required for a preparation to a stress note, like we have in the first bar. So that thinking of going ooh, ah, so bringing the jaw slightly back as you crescendo, and starting with the ooh position with the jaw forward, so that the soft note isn't flat. Okay, so that's just an exercise that I would try based around this study. So if we just now try the first section, having done all that, let's see if that's helped anything. Okay, so that's, for me, that's already a little bit better than it usually is, having done all that stuff. So I hope you have a similar rewarding warm-up. Something with this little accompaniment figure, you can just practice the bass notes as well. And maybe think of a little crescendo to the top, so you go to the top of the phrase and it comes down. So there's that kind of whoosh of the wind that you can hear. And working on creating a different sound from the top. So with the top we've got slightly more colour in the sound, I think, and a bit more expression. And then the low one can be a little bit more subdued, a little bit more hollow, perhaps. So work on going between the two. And just finding that sound, and then vowel and opening the sound to something a little bit more hollow. Thinking of the airspeed is a little bit different perhaps, so a little bit slower for that hollow sound, but still travelling out. So that's just to give you some ideas of how I would think of that. And then the last thing that I would do is practice the melody on harmonics, of course. So to find the harmonic, just think 1 octave down and then 1/5 below that. So with some notes won't work like that, and they might just have to be an octave. For example, E flat. It's just like low register E flat, and F will be the same as the lower register F. But when we've got the C up there, it's going to be an F. So it's coming from the octave down and then a 5th down. For me, harmonics tell you so many things, and if you find that those split, that means that you're working too hard with the lips tightness, jaw tightness, or blowing too strongly. And so we want to articulate that nice, connected, expressive tonguing without splitting, so we don't want splitting all over the shop. So it's really good for the embouchure training. And then just put the notes back. And see how that helps with the sound there. The next section, we've got a little bit more motion. We've just got this 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So the 1 and the 3 are the melody there. And then we've just got this accompaniment again. So that's just pure accompaniment in the lower line. So bring out 1 and 3. And then the stentato melody starts to come back. Da, 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 dee, da, dum. And then just at the end, the softest you can try. And just keep the sound a little bit alive so that it doesn't become dead sound. So that's not what we want, something a little bit more moving with the air. Keep the air moving. Try singing and playing it. So it's not about vibrato as such, it's just keeping the air not going stagnant, basically. So not like a stagnant pond, but the water's still moving and there's oxygen in the sound. So have a go and let me know if any of those tips helped you. Please do make any comments about requests and things for future warm-ups, and especially for the Friday question and answer. So if you have any questions, please let me know. Does anybody have any questions right now about that piece, that study? If not, I will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow is the Poulenc Sonata first movement, and we'll be doing warm-ups based on that. So lots of things about fingers, as well as high notes softly and all that sort of good stuff. Okay, so I'll see you tomorrow.